Hey, welcome to Conversations with Taz. Thank you for joining me on this great Labor Day. Whether you celebrate or you do not, that is your personal preference. I know that I had started a series last week, but a lot of people were like, they were going to be traveling on this day, didn't want to miss it, didn't want it to be pre recorded, and wanted to be able to ask questions. So I'm going to respect that. So we're going to keep it pushing with where we left off on Friday. My apologies for the weekend, but I wasn't feeling the best, but I'm here now. So, hopefully, you all were able to have a relaxing weekend.
Before stars like the Kardashians who hire photo ops and call the paparazzi, there was Paula Negri. Did you know that she hired a photo op at her boyfriend's funeral? She was dating actor Rudolph Valentino when he died suddenly at the age of 31 in August of 1926. At the funeral, Paula Negri fainted not once, not twice, but 3 times. When she fainted a second time, it was on Rudolph Valentino's coffin. She then declared that he had proposed to her and called herself his widow. The final time she fainted took place in front of a $2,000 flower arrangement that spelled out her name. A story goes that while she was walking out of her house to go to the funeral, a photographer yelled that he didn't get the shot, and so Paula Negri turned around, went back in the house, and came out again.
This is why we say we can't trust white women. Y'all be setting stuff up just to look like the victim. She's at a man's whole funeral. He is deceased. He is dead. He is not waking up in the morning to make her breakfast in bed. She cannot feed him the next day. And this goes to show you that a white woman will do any and everything for attention. But let's keep going.
What you gonna do if I break into your house at 3 a.m. and start eating the end slices of your bread?
Toss a Ziploc bag full of Epsom salt at you and tell you it's booger sugar. I know crackhead behavior when I see it. The last time one of y'all broke in my house riding the white tornado, he ate all the cheese out my son's Lunchables, he got my oven pregnant, and he left with my refrigerator door, and he was only 5'8", 120. You gotta be one of the healthiest snowflake enthusiasts I have ever seen. I don't know what you're gonna do after you finish eating that bread, but I might as well go ahead and ask Iron Man if I can borrow his Hulkbuster outfit. You know what, Ted? You ain't even gotta break in. You cool to come stay with me, because I know a guy down at the prison. He's offering $80 for anybody who can beat 5 Florida men in a bare knuckle fight. We can split it 50-50. I'm pretty sure he won't even care if you bring a space ball to power up before each fight. How does that sound? Also, for those of y'all wondering about my oven, it gave birth to a set of triplet toasters last week. Let me know if y'all want one of those.
Not triplet toasters. First of all, if you're going to threaten me with breaking in my house and eating what I ain't going to eat, baby, you ain't got to break in. Just tell me what time you going to come here. Don't have me replacing locks and shit. I'll just let you in. But I want y'all to take a look at something. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. It's nothing super heavy. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
People aren't mad that Marvel is trying to push these issues. They're mad because they do it horribly.
This is going to be a long one, everybody. Buckle up. Now, the first thing you brought up was this scene right here, which of course it was. This is the scene that everybody brings up. But it was actually just a reference to the A-Force, which is an all-female team in the comics. Plus, it's not even the first or last time we've seen scenes like this with all the heroes posing heroically. It just so happens that that scene had all women in it. And apparently that's promoting female agenda. So does that mean that these scenes were promoting male agendas because they're all guys? You brought up Captain Marvel as well, and although you didn't go into specifics about why you disliked her, I just feel like she gets a lot of unnecessary crap. She shares some of the same personality traits as a lot of other characters in the MCU, but somehow she gets flack for it. Not to mention she's only had one movie and a couple of cameos so far, so she hasn't had the most character development. Like, be patient, give her time. But now we come to the main reason I'm making this video, She-Hulk. First of all, let's get this out of the way. Please stop judging a show, good or bad, when it's only like 1 to 2 episodes in, for God's sakes. Again, you didn't go into specifics about what you personally disliked about the writing, but I'm assuming you're talking about this scene right here. I personally didn't find anything wrong with the scene because I know women who have had this exact same conversation. It happens in real life. And I'm sure there are plenty of other women out there who can definitely relate to this. I also find it odd that so many guys are so quick to criticize a conversation that some of them probably never even had. So how would they know it's bad writing or unrealistic? But the biggest stretch by far has to be the fact that you take issue with She-Hulk having makeup and long hair when she transforms. Like, really? This is a universe where Thor can snap his fingers and a bolt of lightning comes down and changes his entire outfit and gives him a braided beard. But you're struggling with eyeliner? Also, I hate to break it to you, but Hulk has been doing this for the past like 10 years. Here's Bruce and Hulk from Avengers with very different hairstyles. Age of Ultron, where Bruce's hair is definitely longer and curlier. And although Ragnarok definitely comes the closest, Bruce's hair is still lighter and curlier. Now, I didn't go through your entire video library, but I'm going to take an educated guess here and say you've never complained about that. If you have, please, by all means, tag me in that video and I will humbly accept that I am wrong, but I'm not exactly going to be holding my breath. That being said, the one point that did make the most sense to me was definitely where you said Disney doesn't exactly care about these issues, they're just trying to make money. I can definitely see that because this is the same company that will have diversity in a movie and then cut out that diversity so they can make a little extra money in another market. However, even if Disney doesn't personally care about these issues, it's very clear that the writers and the creators of these shows do. And whatever Disney's reason is, they're still giving women a voice to tell these stories, and that's a good thing. At the end of the day, everybody's allowed to like or dislike whatever they want. If you really don't like the way the MCU is doing females, that's totally valid, as long as that's just your opinion. For example, everything in this video has been just my opinion. However, in your video, it comes across a little bit more like you're stating it as a fact. I'm not sure if that was your intention, but coming from someone who watched the video, it's just something I noticed. Something to think about.
Now, before any of you male stands come for me, unless you have this and this, fall back and sit the fuck down. Let me explain something to you. For all of you that are saying that one particular scene in She-Hulk, and you're like, oh, that's just catcalling. She was followed after saying, hey, I'm not interested. I'm waiting on my ride. If you think that's harmless catcalling, you're part of the problem. When she is explaining to Bruce, hey, do not put your trauma on me. I, as a woman, have had to keep my anger intact and under control more than you. And you're like, well, I've never had that conversation with a woman. That means you watch Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate and you haven't ever had a conversation with a woman. And don't tell me how many sisters or female cousins you cool with or female friends that you have, because those female friends are more than likely pick-me's. Because I've even had to violently check male friends of mine who have thought that because we're cool, they could become handsy with me. And I'm far from a pick-me, baby. And yes, women, especially women of color, and most especially Black women, we have to avoid being looked at as the caricature that your white women portray online for profit and the racial trope and racial stereotype that you like to put on us. And if you think I'm joking, go to King Kane Allen on Instagram. He posted a live where I was utterly disrespected for standing up for myself. But society told me that I had to go back and apologize for losing my cool, for defending myself. So male MCU and DCU characters can get more attractive and become more appealing in their superhero form, but women can't. Now all of a sudden there's a problem. That's a you problem, not a we problem. And my thing is, the ones that say this have an issue every time a woman pops up, which lets me know you don't read the comic books. And if you don't like how the movies are going or the TV shows are going, why do you keep watching? You really like it. You just want to have this discourse to get clout, clicks, and likes and monetary gain from misogyny, boo-boo. The only person you fooling is the man in the mirror. And maybe your mama. Maybe, because your daddy already knows what you're doing. But like I said, I could take you up to my office and show you all the comic books that I have and all the figurines and go, but I'm not going to. Like I said, if you don't have this and you don't have this, shut the fuck up, because you're not a real fan. And before y'all go in and go, well, what about DC? Bitch, I got a DC encyclopedia too. When I say I research and I go into everything that I like, it's not a joke. I'm a blurred with a capital B. Lerd. Argue with your mama. Allah, Buddha, a couple Hindu gods, but don't argue with me. Now, let's get into this first round of what has been affectionately dubbed podcast shenanigans. Here we go.
Men that lose their masculinity don't get respect from women. True feminine women do not want to see their men cry. It is a big turn off. Men don't have the ability to be like us mentally. They'll be seen as weak. They could give their women the money, the world, all the jewels, and they get cheated on. You might think that you want a man to be equal to you. I think that if you get that, you will lose the respect for him because his masculinity is going to be out the door.
I'm so tired of these pick-me bitches going out here, getting on podcasts, spewing bullshit that they want. Because y'all would not be standing so hard for Chris Brown if that wasn't what you felt. You wouldn't be standing so hard. Hallmark and Lifetime would not have a market if that was true. See, you want a sensitive man that is going to be emotionally available for you. You want a man that's going to be able to take risk and go to certain places with you when you don't want to go with your homegirls and not feel emasculated. But you're going to tell him that he's emasculated for having human emotions, but then wonder why you end up with the dude who wants to bippity bop 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 on top of your damn head. See, you pick-me's are the worst. You sit here and condone the narcissistic, toxic, riddled, self-centered men that don't want to listen, who have incestuous emotional relationships with their mothers and or fathers, or both, and then get upset when they toss you out on your ass in your underwear. Trust me, I was in a relationship with a man who had an emotionally incestuous, toxic, narcissistic relationship with his mother. He did everything for his mother, but that was never good enough. She wanted to invoke competition. And when it came down to it, he took his frustrations out on me. And when he did, she jumped in to try to protect him by giving every excuse in the book. But when he really needed help, she wasn't there. And guess who he was trying to find to come and put the pieces back together? So you pick me motherfuckers want to hold all the emotional baggage for everybody. And you think the rest of us are, oh, nah, baby, nah, nah, no. I admit I was young and dumb in my 20s, and that's what my 20s was for. My 30s was for me to process everything. At 45 years old, you got me fucked up. I'm not holding your emotional baggage. Now, I will help you find a therapist. I will help you fill out the paperwork. But that don't mean I'm going to ride with you through this journey. Because you've been coddled too long, and I'm not about to spend the next 20, 30 years of my life holding your hand while you have epiphanies in therapy. Nah, baby, no. Especially after y'all already got a Black female therapist fired for telling you that you need to increase your emotional IQ, your emotional intelligence. Y'all spent the 90s and the 1990s and the early 2000s to the mid 2000s putting out movies, songs, poems, anything, telling the woman, I respect you if you got your own. Now we got our own. And you want us to dumb ourselves down because you decided to have a stalemate? You decided to be emotionally immature? And you got women like this that's like, well, I just want a warm body next to me. That's the woman that's going to end up dead because she calls out her boyfriend for cheating on her. And mind you, her boyfriend. So should anything happen to her and her name ain't on everything, she's out in the cold. And if y'all think I'm playing, I know a woman that was with somebody for 20 years. The family claimed to love her and they built a house. She renovated the house. They built a whole life together. When that man died, that family took everything from that woman. Even her undergarments. I'm not even going to be vulgar with it. When I say they took everything, her wardrobe, everything, just to be petty and spiteful, because throughout the years of her not cutting him off because of the lifestyle he chose to lead, and her respecting his boundaries and his way of life, and his family not. His family was so bitter. And this man didn't think about having a will. He's like, well, I've been with this woman. Yeah, that's not how the court system works. So all of y'all who think that marriage is just a piece of paper, yeah, let somebody die. Let somebody go into the hospital. See how much of a piece of paper it is. Quit having somebody force you to do marriage duties after the second date, because that's what y'all doing. And I had to check a friend of mine who kept telling me, and this was a man, who was like, oh, I treat every woman I date like that's my wife. Why? First of all, what is her upgrade? And this is why your relationships don't work, because you'll propose to these women, but there's no upgrade. Because you tell them, oh, I've given you everything that I would give you as a wife, but you're not paying attention to them as the individual. But that's a conversation for a whole nother day. But let's just, if you jumping in, and after date number one, you paying bills, you buying gifts, you doing everything, it's no different than with children. If you got a badass kid, but you done decided in your head that at 16, whatever kids you got, they get a fresh new car, fresh off the lot. What is their incentive to earn it? Just my 2 cents. Y'all can leave it on the table or you can take it with you. I'm just saying. There's a lot of people who institute rules to look better than other parents. Yeah, in the short term, oh, yeah, you look like you outdoing the other parents that are still stuck in their high school days, that are still quantifying life by their high school days. But in 4 or 5 years, where them kids at? 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 Because you can say what the fuck ever you want to say about me. I have siblings that have been inspired by me, that have done better. I have siblings that I have tutored and helped out to get through college that are doing exceptional. And when it comes to my children, baby, but let's go to the next podcast shenanigans. Let's go.
What's your top 3 minorities that you hate? Wait a second. Do you guys think we should find out and then edit it out if it's bad later? But you can't say what happened. You can't go on the internet and say what happened if we edit it out. Deal?
Deal.
This is an Asian man during Asian Heritage Month. We checked the rule book. It's allowed. His girlfriend is a vegan without a credit card. So for you liberals out there, these are his top 3 least favorite minority groups. Starting with number 3.
Sri Lankans.
We were really concerned you might just drop the N-word right from the top there. Then number 2.
Native Americans.
Whoa! Whoa!
Why?
He set us up all nice guys. Sri Lankan, not going to be that big of a deal. Small island. What is it about the Native Americans that you don't like?
They're poor and dirty.
Wow. 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 Oh my God. The number 1 least favorite minority group, according to Hans Kim, is
The blacks.
And this is why the model minority trope still stands within the United States. It is not the vast majority of Asian Americans. It is not the vast majority of people who are Asian descent. I can tell you that unequivocally. Unequivocally, I can tell you that. Not just from my experience, but from a plethora of people's experience. But if you notice the laughter from the white guy and the goading and the fact that he said, we can edit this out. So we don't know what came before or after any of this, especially since he started off when the guy said Sri Lanka. That's a nationality, not a race. And I perused the parameters of that video on TikTok's comment section, and people weren't even talking about races of people. They were talking about Italians from New York, French people, and going along with it. But the fact that that young man said blacks and said that Native Americans, you mean the indigenous people to the United States? Because America is 2 different continents. And if you're going to say American, then you need to consider Canadians and Mexicans, but that's a conversation for another day. And that's why I specifically say United States residents and citizens, because you have residents and you have citizens. Y'all need to get down with the get down. But you said blacks. You were intentionally trying to be condescending. You were trying to uphold the model minority trope. That hurts you more than it hurts me. And it hurts my soul to know that you're putting that out that are going to hurt my Asian community, my Asian descendant cousins that are out here doing the good work. But you don't care anything about that. You care about somebody recognizing you, and you think that they're going to tag you in something so you can get some clout. Brother, let me tell you, they didn't tag you. They played certain music in the background and they kikied and hee-heed off of you because just like the Coontastic Coalition members, excuse me, of the Black community, you said what they wanted to say. And they feel like nobody can criticize you because that's why they started it off with, oh, it's this month and we got this person so we can get away with it. And they gave the caveat of, if we edit this, y'all won't say anything. Because that video wasn't from somebody's cell phone. It wasn't from a GoPro strapped to somebody's chest. Just be glad that there are members of the BIPOC community that are just like me, that see through what you did. That will still keep up the fight. That will still keep up the alliance. Because I've said it before and I'm going to say it now. United, we fight white supremacy. And baby, we don't care what face white supremacy takes on. But we got more podcast shenanigans that y'all sent me. If y'all sent me two of these motherfuckers back to back, I'm about to cuss y'all the fuck out. But let's go. I'm a woman of my word.
What flavor is that?
It's Gatorade.
What flavor is that?
Cucumber.
I just lost so much respect for you.
What's wrong with cucumber Gatorade?
Have you tried it before?
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite.
That's what's wrong with it.
It's my favorite Gatorade.
That's your favorite? Cucumber Gatorade is like drinking aloe vera with some salt in it. The fact you're drinking that is disturbing.
I'm about to say something and it's going to make you real mad.
You better watch what you're about. That's insane that you're drinking that.
I love it so much. Whenever I was an athlete in like high school and college, I would only drink this. I used to do something. Would you rather me show you or tell you?
Show and tell? Is it an act?
It's something I used to do with this Gatorade.
And you can show it to me.
I still do it.
Oh my God.
I swear this is what I do when I get cucumber Gatorade and cucumber Gatorade only. I drink half of it immediately.
Why are you chugging?
I drink half of it immediately. And I don't like the cucumber Gatorade just for the taste. I actually prefer the smell. So if I don't want it to run out, I just snip it.
That's disgusting. It's Gatorade Zero. It's not even the. Oh my God. I know that tastes disgusting. Not only is it aloe vera in a bottle liquefied with salt, but now there's no sugar.
It's so good.
You're drinking medicine. You're drinking like a remedy. You are and you sniff it.
It smells good. This makes me feel hydrated when I sniff it.
I bet so. That's like a natural diarrhea.
Dude, you just like the literal spa water. And why are your laughs on silent? I'm more concerned about your laughs being naturally on silent. Because I recently found out that y'all were teammates in college, junior college. What happened to you in JUCO that but I got some updates for y'all regarding y'all remember the Reddit sex guy with the weird playlist, well, weird song. We don't know about the whole playlist, but you're gonna find out tonight. Y'all know your girl wasn't gonna leave you hanging. Not only do we have some additional commentary, but we got some updates. And uh yeah, and keep in mind, he was not going with the beat. He was going with the rhythm. I ain't got much rhythm.
Man, sorry it took so long. I guess you could say I was out listening to the song, if you know what I mean. But here's the playlist. Try it out for best results.
Okay, by now you've probably heard of the Reddit guy with the weird sex song, but I think people are overlooking the fact that he said this is part of a playlist.
Started slowly creating a playlist in which I was comfortable matching the rhythm.
I found the rest of the playlist. Enjoy.
What does the fox say? I like pizza, pepperoni, mozzarella, and anchovy. I like pizza with salami.
So if you use this playlist, let me know how it goes. Don't.
And in case you didn't catch the Reddit update, the sister of his now ex-girlfriend saw the Reddit and decided to share it with the sister's parents. I don't know what type of relationship they had. Please don't share that shit with me. If any of my children are watching, don't. Y'all already pushed my boundaries. I will take you out of everything. But yeah, we learned that he definitely was going with the beat. Like, nope. And I can't lie, he looked exactly like I thought he would. I don't mind whatever freaky deaky shit you do in the bedroom. If you were one of my children, and their friends, you come to me and go, I saw a Reddit where they were talking about their sex life. We gonna throw hands. We gonna throw hands. I'm gonna test your reflexes. Don't. And when he said he put together a playlist, my heart breaks. That my heart don't even break. Like the people he was banging out before, like, first of all, the first person he tried this on, and I'm going to say person because he did not specify a gender identity, and I'm not going to assume. First of all, ladies, stop lying to these men. I've been the victim of ladies lying to me. Yeah, I like that. Stop. And stop telling men every woman likes this or every woman does. Shut the fuck up. Y'all say that shit thinking that's gonna keep a man with you. No, it's not. Because he knows the difference between you running because he too big, too long, too strong, as Beyonce says. And they're just being friction. And you being afraid of spontaneous combustion. But let's go to this month's ad, and then we'll get into the rest of what we got to get into. Cause we do have to get into some serious stuff. Lord.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Some wild news out of Texas. Agents from Texas Child Welfare Agency told a federal court that Governor Greg Abbott's order to investigate trans kids has brought the agency to the brink of collapse after 2,000 agents resigned in the past year alone rather than break up loving families. It's good to know that there are sane people in these agencies that care enough for the LGBTQ community, but to know that Abbott is leading in the polls over O'Rourke for governor of Texas is horrible.
For all of you that are so all over the internet claiming to be an ally, you're a self-proclaimed accomplice, where you at? Where you at? Because the voting polls are showing where you're at. And I wasn't going to bring this up, but I think it's very apropos. This past weekend, I have not felt the best. I have been very sick. I was not able to do 95% of the things that I was supposed to do. It's all good. Y'all know I'm the makeup queen. I will make it up to everybody. But last night, in my insomnia, I woke up and I watched a Dateline piece. And they were talking about a trans teen, 19 years old, that had gone missing. They gave the name Sage. They gave their roommate's name as Aubrey. Two very societally gender neutral names. And they kept referring to both of them as he. And then they brought up another case like, well, why did this case get more attention? And how could they find this person sooner? By the end of it, I realized they had misgendered everyone in this case. They had sent out pictures of this individual as a man, but they were a trans woman. Sage was a trans woman. You put out the wrong picture. People were looking for a man instead of a woman. And even when you got information from a friend of Sage that said, hey, Eric, you still didn't switch the pictures. You still didn't switch the pronouns. And at the end, the parent, it doesn't matter what your child is. You need to accept them. You still didn't accept them because you still misgendered them in trying to tell their story for sympathy. And the road that led to their demise, did y'all ever think that it was because of you? Did you ever think that they had to be with closeted individuals that are most likely to exterminate members of the trans community? See, this is where trans men and trans women and trans non-binary folks run into danger. Because they feel like they have to exist in certain circles when they don't have the proper respect and they don't have the proper support system. And even in their death, you can't give them enough. You can't give them enough respect to at least gender them properly. Because you and your whole family that claims to care so much would be pissed the fuck off if you as the father, you as the mother who identify as cis male and cis woman, if should something happen to you, somebody reversed your pronouns. If you decided to go into drag somewhere and that's the picture they put out, and you wonder why people didn't know who to look for. It was the last 30 seconds of the episode, and it was two very quick clips where I was like, shit, I would have been looking for the wrong person. I could have come in contact with this person. It could have saved them. Don't play victim when you further victimize a marginalized community. I don't give a fuck if you gave birth to this person. Stop assuming every person on the planet is Christian. And stop assuming that your wayward, hypocritical, egotistical sky daddy is the end all to fucking be all. Because if he gave a damn, the Holocaust, chattel slavery, segregation, racism wouldn't exist. My brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews and cousins within the trans community wouldn't go through what they go through. Let me stop before I go too far because I don't want to appear that I'm speaking over people. Let's go to the next video. Students versus the establishment. Let's roll
It
it.
turns out that a group of students in Florida specifically set a great example of how you can fight back and actually get rid of some of these bigots within these school boards, okay? Specifically, they wanted to recall Janet McDonald and Jill Woolbright. Why? Well, 2 of Janet McDonald's retweeted messages stated, quote, "It's easier to come out as gay than come out as a Trump supporter," end quote. Jill Woolbright is also problematic. Woolbright made headlines last year after calling the police on a school librarian for offering books with LGBTQ plus themes. Now, the recall group reached out to tens of thousands of voters through campaigns on various social media platforms, and guess what? They won. They got those 2 weirdos recalled from the school board, and it shows you that if you fight hard enough, if you organize, if you put your mind to it, you can actually fight back against the moneyed interests that are trying to rig every institution to their favor in this country.
Not only is that how you do it, parents out there who feel that the curriculum is too much for their student, take on that responsibility. I saw a video, my apologies. Like I said earlier, I wasn't feeling well and I was intermingling with family members, different family members throughout the day. There was a former teacher, and I understand why she got out of the profession, who stated that there was a parent that didn't want her student to see certain words, certain things, and made precautions, and the teacher was to send the syllabus to the mother, and the mother would go through it and take the onus. But also realize it's detrimental to your children. You all are quick. And let's just take the Roe v. Wade scenario. You're quick to say, well, women, they know when they can get, no. Do you know how many adults are walking around in the United States today that have misinformation, disinformation, or no information regarding how you can get pregnant? There are girls that think that somebody can screw the mess out of their booty hole, but pull out and come on top of their vagina and they will not get pregnant. Baby, swimmers are built for one thing. A swimmer gonna swim. Catch what I'm putting down? It's not immaculate conception. And then these same parents, they're like, children are a blessing when it's their son. Oh, she's out for blood. Look at what's been going on in the NFL recently. Don't look at anything else. Look what's going on. Oh, she's out for a money grab. Ask yourself why societally we tell boys, oh, she doesn't know what she's missing. But we teach girls to accept rejection. But we teach boys to push forward. We teach girls to dress and act and be a certain way, not to distract a boy. But we teach boys everything is a distraction. And if it's a distraction, he can have it. But then we get pissed when that behavior comes knocking on our door. When it's our daughter, when it's our LGBTQIA plus son that's on the receiving end of the toxicity that we perpetuate in society and within Christianity. Because I'm not going to tell you how many times I've been called a stumbling block. I'm not going to tell you how many times people have gossiped behind my back while I've come up to a church to help them out, while I've put my own money down, while me and my daddy have funded things that they have partook of, while I have spent a sleepless amount of months, not nights, getting donations together, Even right now, I'm working on a project. And the church financial secretary and other members of the congregation have so much to say about me. I'm supposed to be so hot in the pants. But I'm not rolling up to the church with a man that's not my husband in my car. I'm not asking a man that I'm not in a relationship with to come help me with grandchildren or children or help me do anything in the back of the church. Now, do people volunteer because they know my heart? Yes. Men, women, non-binary individuals. Yes, they see my heart and they see that, oh shit, she done came up here and for hours she been cooking and she decided she gonna serve us and she gonna clean up this by herself. Let's go help her out. But the ones who not only claim, but it's been verified they got a man or a woman at home that's bringing gifts up to the church for somebody else. Don't nobody bat an eye on. Somebody who claim they got a whole man that ain't worth shit is trying to drum up gossip. Somebody whose daughter don't even go to the church no more because of the hypocrisy and the bullshit, but won't call out the hypocrisy and the bullshit. You want to talk shit about me. Let's go on to some Trump moments that didn't age well.
These videos from Trump's 2016 campaign did not age well, considering recent events.
We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. This was not just extreme carelessness with classified material, which is still totally disqualifying. This is calculated, deliberate, premeditated misconduct, followed by a cover-up. In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law.
He meant no one that didn't have the name of Trump or the originating name of Trump. Because could you really trust someone whose family deflected in order to avoid military service and were kicked out of their own country and idolizes the Nazis? Who thinks that they have good genes and perfected genes? Oh, did y'all forget about that? But I know we're running out on this hour, so there's two stories I want to talk about. I want to talk about a fucked up story, and I also want to talk about a redemption story, because one of my favorite actors was redeemed this weekend, and I want to give him all the props and all the glory. But let's get into some bullshit. And while y'all have been saying for years, Taz, I thought you were pro-black, but you don't support certain black women. And this is why. I keep telling y'all, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But let's go.
Tiffany Haddish is facing a lawsuit alongside comedian Aries Spears in which she's accused of molestation. A 22-year-old woman identified as Jane Doe and her 14-year-old brother identified as John Doe filed the complaint in Los Angeles Superior Court. The document details that they were 14 and 7 when Haddish and Spears allegedly had them participate in sexually suggestive videos. It claims that Haddish groomed the plaintiffs, leaving them, quote, traumatized for life. Jane Doe allegedly has never dated since out of fear of being taken advantage of again, and John Doe has developed depression and anxiety. Jane Doe said that the memory resurfaced when a similar scene in Haddish's 2017 film Girls Trip made her, quote, realize the severity of what happened to her. Attorneys for Haddish and Spears have called the allegations bogus and a shakedown. They say the plaintiff's mother has tried to assert these claims for years and that every lawyer has dropped the case after realizing the claims were meritless.
I saw the clip then, and as much as I love movies and TV shows, go back through my history, you'll see what I have not promoted. Um, I went back and watched the clip again. I am not trying to compare myself to the young lady or the young gentleman that was put through this, but I want to put things in perspective to you. As a young teenager, like my first year of official teenage years, all of my friends, minus one, lived across the street from me. Now, the one friend that lived on the same side of the street of me, we both had hectic schedules. She was in ballet, I was doing cheer, dance, majorette, stuff like that. And I was doing debate team, mock trial. So we couldn't always get together. Now, my friends across the street, there was like between a year to 3 year difference between all of us, but we got along because of our familiar interests, and we're all kids, we're all minors. Who gives a fuck? Like that was our mentality. I remember going across the street, and this one particular family was, their whole family were like friends of my family. It was nothing for me. I didn't have to tell my parents that I was going across the street because I was like, our front doors looked at each other. So I'm like, if I stay in this, my mom can see where I am. And I remember walking back and being called fast and told that I was trying to get the attention of her uncle. This man wasn't paying me no attention. I wasn't paying him any attention until somebody brought it up to me. I didn't even know he had came outside. I was chilling with my friends. It affected me so much that I stopped crossing the street. I had to cross the street to catch my bus. I started catching the official city bus and waking up early because I wouldn't cross the street. Do you get what I'm putting down? Do you get what I'm putting down? And like I said, I'm not saying that mine was on the same level of theirs. But I wasn't put under the same pressure as them. And I started change. Like I used to like to sit on the front porch and read books or write poetry, and I stopped doing that. I used to ride my bike down one side of the street, ride it back up the other side with my friends. I had a set of friends that lived on the other side of the street, one of whose grandmothers and mothers, I'll explain to y'all how we were all in the same age bracket later if you want me to. But they had a big parking space. And if there wasn't a funeral, we used to do what we called roller skate dancing. I stopped doing that with them. And it was something that brought me joy. I can't imagine what these two kids felt. But I can understand not wanting to date, not wanting to. And there's some cultural things in there. Because when you're a little black girl and you're targeted and you're victimized, you're blamed for it. You're told that you're trying to, and I believe from what I've seen in conversations I've had, this is throughout the BIPOC community and somewhat through the non-BIPOC community, that you're trying to steal somebody away from your mother, your aunt. But it still affects me to this day. Because there was a time me and all of my children -1 went to one of our favorite hangouts, and the people who bought my childhood home. They let us come back through and see the renovations, and they let us walk through at will. And when I looked across the street, I burst out in tears because it was still instilled in me that I couldn't cross the street. That family no longer lives across the street. And for people to think that it's a money grab. I know what this brother and sister are going through because I went through it last year. I had people that I gave up my sleep. I gave up my peace. I gave up me making money to make time to be up with them to the wee hours. Turn on me with no conversation. Because I set a boundary regarding no longer wanting to talk about something that happened to me. And because one woman who decides to sit in the dark and talk shit about everybody and then reconnect with people when folks get into online tussles. I try not to be messy. And I know that last year I went through a lot of emotional shit publicly. I didn't take the videos down. I'm not going to. Hopefully, somebody can learn from me spiraling. Hopefully, somebody can see the deep, dark side of spiraling and being under that much duress to go and get help. But let me say this, and let me say this with my whole chest. I got no makeup on. This is me. And I got some skin shit going on. Deal with it. I do things out of the kindness of my heart. And I have sat back and I've been watching, and everything is coming to light. And as people act as if one person has lied about everybody else but me, y'all are acting like Trump supporters, and one day you're going to have to wake up and look at the facts of the matter. And when you do, I mean this with my whole chest, my whole being, and everything behind me. There will be no forgiveness from me, not privately, not publicly. I wasn't given the respect of a conversation. Nobody said shit when I was doxxed, and my home is hard to find. And motherfuckers knew this and had no problem with pictures leading up to my front door, knowing that my tiny humans, my children, my father, my siblings come to my house. I don't give a fuck what y'all do to me. And I know that you watch my YouTube channel every day diligently. Y'all don't know what y'all put me through. And I know this show took a turn, but it needed to take a turn because it was on my heart. Let me tell you, you don't know the people who actually stand behind me. And my papa told me something that I didn't realize until y'all brought y'all bullshit. I am a millionaire where I stand. And I understand now why I follow Jody Breezy on every social media platform. And if you don't follow Jody Breezy, do. Because he said, I'm rich, but I'm not gonna mess up his tagline, but my papa taught me this. You are a millionaire when you know who loves you and who's gonna stand by you. So do what you want. Take all the trips you want to take. Grift all the ways you want to grift. Break all the laws you want to break. While you working overtime to talk shit about me, At 10:15 today, I finished my first bill and sent it off to a congressperson that backs me. When I said I was working for police reform, I told y'all I had to learn certain stuff to make sure I had the language right. And I'm going to continue to fight. So while y'all arguing and squabbling on social media, while y'all taking trips and raising money, I'm the bad person that ain't asked nobody for shit. Even at my lowest moment, I didn't ask anybody for anything. And if you're about forward motion, why is your whole platform beefing with people, trying to prove that you're better than somebody else? I got a notification on the Nextdoor app that there's somebody literally coming to the door, trying to figure out who's pro this, who's anti that, because they're making a list to take people out. I live in a commonwealth, not even a state. That's why I think it's hilarious that the United States call itself the 50 states. It ain't 50 states, boo-boo. But they're trying to put together a hit list. But y'all really out here arguing over who likes who? And you don't want to sit down at the table and talk to me. But I did you wrong how? I wasn't calling you at work or in the middle of the night asking you about your affairs. I wasn't telling people to call CPS on your kids. I wasn't doing none of that shit. All I was doing was telling people don't be paranoid and don't jump into some bullshit. And I'm the same woman that keeps getting blocked and keeps getting disrespected and told, oh, I've been warned about you. And people think that it's okay to call me out of my name, disrespect me, talk over me. That's what y'all stand for? Because I know y'all gonna clip this down. But all of my shit stands. If y'all edit one more thing of mine down, the videos that I agreed to keep private, I will unprivate them. And I will market the fuck out of them. I told y'all. You murdered benevolent Taz. Taz 2.0 is here, and this bitch is here to stay. Now, next week, we will get back into the Espionage Act. Sorry for the stray away from what I told y'all the content would be. But sometimes you got to let people know what's going on. And when you're fighting for equity, shit happens. And if you don't tell people about the shit that happens, when something does happen to you, people are at a loss. And any narrative that anybody puts out, that's what they run with. And I'll be damned. I'll be damned. So if you want to fake it till you make it, whether you're BIPOC or not, if you put a target on my back, I'm making it clear. I will never do anything to myself at 45 years old, and all of the shit that I've been through and all of the pressure that I've been through, baby. I'm not going to be the one to take me out. And I'm not going out without a fight. And if you claim to know me so well, first of all, recite my whole name, start to finish. Second of all, recite my credentials. Third, say how your life has been better without me. Each one teach one, each one reach one. Till tomorrow, y'all.